So welcome everybody to the South Australia WA property market update. Um, and Thank you for tuning in. And we'll just go through some of the new stock on the Connect portal. Most of you know what we do, but we have had an influx, or we've been really pushing pretty hard to get some new exclusive stock on that portal for you guys. And also, it's probably after the tax shake up and lots of noise on investing. We might go through that a little bit as well. But as you can see, and most of you know this, it really provides an opportunity for us now. All we do is in brand new stock, brand new house and land packages, apartments soon on the portal. And this is an area that the government's really pushing everybody to one purchase, but also invest in as well. So um, we'll just go through the South Australian marketplace. So as you can see, we've still had some relatively high growth at 8.8%. The region areas are even higher, so they're up 14.5% year on year. Part of that is a lot of infrastructure spend, um, and so there's some big opportunities and companies moving into the regions of Murray Bridge and Gawler and Manoparas and north of Adelaide. So we're really seeing 6 years of sustained growth. Um, yeah, South Australia continues to perform as WA is as well. So there's some WA hotspots there, and again in the region. So Albany's, 400 k's out of Perth. Days on market average of 10. So the low, and also the lowest vendor discounting in the country as well. Um, and the government's really pushing some incentives there in the budgets for their state budgets, stamp duty concessions, stamp duty on vacant land, medium house pricing in Perth's nudged $1 million, 10% growth quarterly again, so the largest growth in 20 years in one quarter, and then 18% year on year growth, which is extremely high. Um, but if you look at that number there, Perth's nearly nudging 2 million people, 1,800 properties for sale is quite low. So, um, and again, the negative gearing, we think that that's an opportunity in both those states, South Australia and WA. And we should get some bit more opportunities coming our way on the portal, etc. And if you look at current new stock, we are loading stock on a daily basis. We seem to be getting a lot of stock at the moment. Some new releases that we've got coming. As I said, Albany, Lanston South, Oriella townhouses in WA, but also South Australia, Paraffel Gardens, some co-living, which we've never had on the portal before in South Australia. Wallaroo, which is a newer area for us, some house and land there. 80 blocks available in the first release. And then we've got obviously Anglevale, Virginia, Manopara, and then on the other side, Murray Bridge. Um, so Anglevale in South Australia, it's always a hot area. It sells really quickly. But there we've got a package there, a little three-bedder. Um, and you'll see that the rental, estimated rentals are about $700 a week. So it's quite high for that smaller package. But again, it's a double garage, three better, and nicely put together. And you'll see there that our inclusions we're also finding are getting a bit better spec as well. So although the prices are moving, they're really putting in some work on adding some value as well. So um, and they are all it's a turnkey package, so it's ready to tenant to rent straight away. And you see there the spec levels are quite high, almost owner occupier stuff, and it really we find that quality product that we're offering in the marketplace means we get a quality tenant and a long-term tenant and less problems down the track with tenants really looking after where they're living, etc. Because there's not a lot of stock for them to go to either, so they tend to higher quality products give a higher quality tenant, as I always say. And again, your exteriors are done, your fencing, letterboxing, everything's ready to go. So, um, One estate, Emerald Estate, in Anglevale. So Anglevale is traditionally an agricultural area. It does have a little township with some infrastructure, restaurants, some hotels, sports community centre, shopping centre. Trinity College, already in that area, already established. Especially the main street, there's shopping and taverns, and etc. So all the things that tenants tend to look for when looking at investment property or rentals. Um, and Yeah, so you can see it's quite built up in that area through there. Then we've got Elizabeth Park. So again, an existing older suburb with some pockets of development going on within that suburb. So it's not out on its own, and there's infrastructure there as well. This package is a little bit smaller, so probably a good tenant package, $600 a week rent. Nice smaller home, something affordable for tenants that they're after. So um, that's just a little division. So this is an existing block in Elizabeth Park, and it's really in a built-up area, so it's not like it's out in the middle of nowhere. So, um, and again, we'll give you as much information as we can independently. We don't sort of offer investment advice. You can get your own consultants to do that, but we will provide when we do an EPAC, providing information on the property. So we have some hot spotting reports on some of them. Some of them are developers, which are developing long term in their areas, provide a lot of information to us. And then you see the city of Playford. So that's really taken off. It's a target area from the government for growth, and they're pumping in a lot of infrastructure upgrades for sewer and water and that sort of thing. So, um, yeah. Um, So we've got a lot of new residential developments going through, and that really gives us some opportunity to at least have a shot of securing some land. As I said, quite often we'll get stock, we read the bottom of the email and it's already sold. So with some of these newer developments, we're finding that they might give us exclusive 10 blocks to sell, etc. So just gives you a bit of time to get yourselves organised. With your clients, expression of interest. The new ID requirements are coming in pretty quickly, faster than probably what we'd like. And you'll need to submit all that to us as well. So, as well as your pre-approvals and your expression of interest form. Now we get on to WA. A hot area at the moment is Albany, which is 400 k's out of Perth, major port town. We haven't had a lot of opportunity there, and now we're finding that we there's some builders that will travel down to there and do some developments for us. So and here we have a little package here, which is a co-living or dual key type scenario. We've got 3 bedrooms on one side and two on the other, so you're getting dual rents. The property looks like just a normal large home with a double garage, so it's quite a sought after property. It's good for rental, but also you resale as well because it just looks like a normal house. So, um, and there's the inclusion. So as you can see from that, specs are getting to be quite upmarket, which means you get a longer term tenant and higher rents, etc., and less maintenance issues, which property managers all hate. So, but yeah, so. Um, And another area is Lakeland. So this is only 70 k's from Perth, Central Business District in the Mandurah region. Again, we've got a little package there, double garaging, 4 bedrooms, so it's quite a big home. Spec levels are high. The price difference is not too bad as well. So most of the stuff that we're getting is over $1 million now, and this one's well under that. So thankfully. And again, spec levels are quite high. And suburbs are, it's in an existing subdivision. All your infrastructure's there, your shopping and your entertainment, etc. So good for tenant profiles. Yeah, so it's in a quite a good area. Next one, this one's a little bit left of field in South Australia. This is a brand new division going up in Wallaroo in the north. It's called Northern Beach area. Wallaroo has had some smaller subdivisions underway previously. They are all sold out. Um, and this would probably be the last patch of subdivision in Wallaroo, or the northern beaches of Wallaroo. It's quite a sought after area. Vacancy rates are quite low, and you can see there this is a pretty impressive subdivision. So, and it has a commercial component as well as housing and shopping, etc. So it's really going to lift Wallaroo. And Woolloomooloo has a fair amount of focus at the moment with the existing development in the main township on the foreshore has been resold to a large major interstate developer who is going to complete that. So that'll have medical centres, shopping, some commercial and a motel as well. So really lifting the profile of the area. Um, some other new stock in South Australia, a little bit closer to home. So this is a duplex scenario, 4 beds, and something that we haven't had the opportunity to provide in South Australia is this dual living type concept, or co-living as well. So 4 bedrooms, 4 bath. Um, yeah, so in quite good prices, good areas, Manopara Downs, Salisbury North. So they're all good areas for growth. Um, and this is a brand new supplier, so this will be on the portal in a couple of weeks, or less. And this will be some exclusive stock for us, so it gives you a bit of time to get your expression of interest in and get your clients ready, and it won't be sold by the time you get it to us or by the time you finish reading the email like WA is. Quite good builds, quite different. There's even some stock in Victor Harbour, another regional centre. Um, with some growth in it. The land pricing in Victor Harbour is quite high, but yeah, we just got some stock availabilities there. Salisbury Downs, so this is a good areas as well, and 4 bedroom homes for that rental income or family type tenant. And they're quite closer to the city than say Virginia, etc. Again, Salisbury Downs again. Manopara Downs. So Manopara's been interesting. It's been a subdivision area that's been developed for the last 15 years and basically run out. And there's a few pockets of housing there now too. So yeah, Paralawi, that's closer again to the city. Um, there's some good stock and good growth there. So um, yeah, so just I guess, do we want to do a raise your hand and ask me some questions on what I feel about the marketplace, or what we're seeing in the market, or has anybody got questions on the budget and what we think is going on there? So um, yeah, we've got some.
Yeah, but I think we forgot to mention that if you have any questions, just add them to the chat and we will cover
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I might just quickly show you the portal so you can see stock levels. So this is a little house at Tailem Bend. Which is a new area for us. We haven't had stock there before. And I checked a minute ago on realestate.com, and it's got 2 rental properties there. So, they're in dire need of rental properties for tenants. So, but this is like South Australia at the moment. There's almost 80 properties, um, in all sorts of areas. And then if you look at WA, for example, there's another 60 there. Um, and we are starting to get a lot more opportunity in WA. So maybe that first time buyer rush from the 5% grants, etc., has died off a little bit. But really, yeah, we're getting some pretty good stock levels, and we're increasing that as well. Some of this more expensive product here is the self-managed super fund, so it's a single contract, which suits a lot of people. But and where they purchase the land, they pay all the stamp duties, all the government fees to settle the interest on the loans, plus the construction financing, etc., and then you pay at the end. So that's why they're slightly higher than what you might find. But again, some good stock levels there. This area, Rockingham, is quite a area that's going to have a lot of focus and a lot of opportunity for us, and that's where the new shipyards are being extended for the destroyer project and the submarine. So that's an area that we expect to have a lot more stock available and a lot more opportunity for us as investors. Um, yeah, so as you can see, we've got a ton of stock. My advice is probably log in every Monday, just have a look at what we've got. And as you're seeing your clients, at least you've got some sort of idea on what is available. We also email and SMS you all the new stocks that we can keep up with, but also let you know what's happening. So that really prompts you to, hey, log into the portal and have a look, and we might have something that, for your clients. So um, yeah, so any questions, maybe add them to the chat or raise your hand or something like that if you want to come online and have a bit of a chat. But yeah, that just gives you an overview of some of the things that we have available, and the stock levels are quite, as I said, a lot more than what we did. But we are starting to have some exclusive developments on board, and exclusive developers and builders approaching us to sell investment product. All right.
I
Um,
think
yeah.
Ruby has a question in the
Where is
some
the hottest
questions.
area? Hottest area. Yeah, so WA, I think it's all hot, basically. Every time we have something up at Albany, it goes quite quickly. Um, and we're just lucky that the supply there is a little bit exclusive to us. So, but there's not a lot of stock. Mandurah area in WA is quite a good area, and that, as I said, that Rockingham area will have a lot of focus because there'll be a lot of trades and army personnel, etc. there. Same as South Australia. So South Australia, I think there'll be 10,000 military personnel or Navy personnel moving to South Australia. We've also got a aircraft service area for the Air Force, etc. Just opened up in South Australia. So lots happening there. So um, that's really an area where there's a lot of focus at the moment, is that northern part of Adelaide. And then there's Murray Bridge. So Murray Bridge is interesting, or Tailem Bend as well. Murray Bridge is a growing government town, but also there's two major abattoirs there, and there's also a couple of defence industry moving into Murray Bridge as well. I'm not sure why, but that's where they've chosen, and I think probably the size of the land that's available for commercial, and probably the value as well. So hang on, so we got a bit from Kevin. As both WSA markets have been so hot with current economic situation, budget prices will be trending down. I've just seen a report where concrete footings have gone up 9%, PVC's up nearly 30%. So I can't really see prices coming off a fair bit. The first home buyer, as I said, is quite active. So we really only see maybe 5% of the stock available for investors. And the vacancy rates are still way, way down. So I might give you an example. So I had a look there at Tailem Bend this morning, and because it was new stock and a new area for us, and I looked at realestate.com to see how much is available for rent, and there's only two, and that's been in the last month. So vacancy rates are 3%. Market medium rentals is around 5% return. Um, Stock on the market, very, very low. And why is Tailem Bend a focus? Well, Tailem Bend has the new International Motorsport Park. It's closer to Murray Bridge. There's renewable energy projects and limited new supply. So it's quite landlocked and there hasn't been much development in Tailem Bend for a long, long time. So that's an area left of field. Um, so I can't really see stock levels going down. If anything, the investors will shift to new stock, and that's supply and demand. so so things tend to increase. What else have we got? How do you compare the townhouses and houses in WA and capital growth? Yeah, so we don't have a lot of townhouses on board on the portal. My feeling is that with house and land packages rising, it seems like the further out we go, the more expensive it becomes. So we've got some Lancelin South stock, and that's nearly as high as Perth. It's quite a beautiful subdivision area, quite a nice town. Again, land's the costs are increasing to provide land. So um, and I feel that yes, probably townhouses are the next step, and certainly apartments as well. And there's lots of commentary at the moment from people that don't sell apartments to say, hey, apartments are no good and you lose your money. But when you look at the stats, in some areas like Adelaide CBD, the apartment growth is higher than housing. So yeah, so there's a few questions on portal access, etc. So Praveen we'll probably make sure that the agents are all have an account, and then if you're a purchaser yourself from the public, as I said, we'll be in touch with you, ring each of you, find out what you'd like to have a look at, and we'll take it from there. And if you're in an area that we can't service and we've got agents on board, we'll just ferry your details to an agent to contact you. So give me a quick, Stephen. What's the name of that Western Australian town again? So Albany or Albany, depends on which side of the fence you're from. I think it's Albany, I think, for Ben, isn't it? Albany. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what's the name? Yeah. And Lancelin South is another one. So that's north. Lancelin's famous for its lobster. I was there in January. So um, yeah, so that's got 4,000 allotments approved, that subdivision there. So that's quite a big subdivision with some commercial aspect to it as well. So, um, how long does it take to process my portal white labeled after I sign up? Yeah, that's generally within a week. But that's probably more of an admin question than somebody like me. So,
Yeah, I'll give Stephen a call after the
yeah,
meeting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, some good questions there. How would we know the stock was exclusive on the portal? Yeah, so Gary, we are moving more to exclusive stock. We are targeting land developers as well. So Lancelin South, for example, and Wallaroo, it's land available to us. Now they do have an appointed builder, but we're pretty much, we've got, I mean, Wallaroo, we've got 80 blocks. Lancelin South, as I said, there's 4,000. I think the stage that's available now, there's 10 or 8, 2 sold last week. And then that next stage, stage 10, there's, I think, 40 blocks available to us. So, and then again, Murray Bridge, that's in South Australia, that stock in Virginia, etc., is pretty much exclusive to us. So, we're finding that land developers now coming to us for that pre-sale requirement. So, so often we get stock that's not on market. Yeah, Stephen. Thanks, mate. Yeah, any more questions? Ask me anything property related. What about some feedback from you guys? So I'd like to probably know, what are you seeing in the marketplace? What sort of stock should we be targeting? Is it still the co-living stuff, dual key stock, or apartments or townhouses, or more inner city stock? Um, Dual key, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Dual key. So in South Australia, though, that type of property needs to be approved at land division stage, which makes it harder. So we have sent some example floor plans to a couple of developers to try and get that approved, at least give us 10 blocks. And the new stock that I just showed you last in South Australia, that's some of that stock coming on board, and we're expecting a little bit more of that stock. Unfortunately, each state has its own requirements. So another dual key request. Yeah, each state has its own approval requirement. So any units coming up around Sydney, that's probably a question for Pravin. Um,
Yeah,
I would
Neil,
say so. Yeah,
we both this year we are actually exploring units as well. We have worked out relationships with a couple of developers to do so. Right
yeah,
now, you wouldn't just log in and have a look. I guess you wouldn't see as many apartments in Sydney at the moment. But this
yeah,
year, yes, we are working out relationship with developers to do so.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm finding on the ground, especially in Adelaide CBD, that apartments are not only do they sell well, but they rent fairly quickly. So um, I sold one a couple of weeks ago. It was a higher end three-bedroom apartment, brand new. Rental was $1,100 a week. It rented in the first open. So in particular buildings in South Australia, there's a lineup for tenants. So um, yeah, smaller packages in good areas, though traditionally love four bedroom. Yeah. So um, I think probably what's happened recently, especially South Australia, we used to have a requirement of 20% open space. I think some of the councils have relaxed that slightly. So that stopped us or developers building four-bedroom homes on a 300 square meter block or 400 square meter block. Um, there is a big push now, though, that garaging has to be so much per bedroom. So that's the other thing that we've got as well. Are we going to see any increase in supply? I think so. As the first home buyer market cools off a little bit, we may see some first time investors or rent vesting going on, I think. Um, so, and also you'll get more supply on our portal basically because we're really targeting developers to get more stock and more exclusive stock. One of the biggest complaints we've had from agents is that, as I said, we read the bottom of the email, we try and upload it to the portal, but by the time we read the email, blocks are sold, especially WA. So we're trying to go for that more exclusive stock and actually turn back some stock that's, they've sent an email and say, oh, I need to sell this by tonight or I lose the block and because it'll be sold, and we just don't put it up. So we tend not to try and muck you guys around. But again, I'd probably stress seeing your clients doing the pre-approvals for a certain amount if you can, getting them ready with their IDs. So that if we flick you an SMS on something that's come up, reserve it straight away. Then ask all the million questions on color selections and stuff afterwards and where it is, etc. So you list only new builds. Yes. So we are primarily a new build portal. That all those products that I showed you or flicked you through is all brand new stock. Yes. Type of jobs for owner occupiers. I gather you mean type of housing for owner occupiers. Look, all our stock really can be purchased by owner occupiers. Just bear in mind that it's not a house on a piece of dirt. It's a house that has all the fencing, all your landscaping done, retaining walls, driveway, letterboxing, all that stuff that's extra on top of most packages that you see on realestate.com because they are tenant ready. Even the curtains on some of them or blinds are up. And we've had properties that we've sold, we've settled, we've done the handover, and then it's tenanted the same week. So yeah, could be valuable to include property investment insights and stats. How they're going to pay for it. Okay. So we can provide some stats, and we on this exclusive stock if we've got more than one block or two blocks, and we've got a bit of a long-term supplier, they will provide us some stats on the area. But if it's just one property in the middle of suburbia, that's one from two from one or something like that. Yeah, we may not have that stock, the stats there for you, but we can obviously get hold of it. And as I said, even ChatGPT now references a couple of publications for us, and then we can build it into a report, and it's all third party information. So as I said, we're not an investment advisory portal, and that's probably the job of most of the guys that are on our portal exactly. So,
I,
but
I think, yeah, Brett, it's probably worthwhile to note that there's a link. We do actually produce some of the suburbs. We do produce an insight on into the suburb, and those
yeah,
documents are available on the portal. They are white label documents as well that can be presented to clients.
okay,
But it's like Brett was saying, we're not advisory. So I guess we just do that, whenever there's a request from an agent to do that.
yeah,
But yeah, there are specifically Lancelin and Mandura that was discussed. There are reports there on Lancelin and Mandura on the portal.
yeah. So Lansing's an area because there is potentially 4,000 blocks going up there. It's worth us. We've got long-term stock, so uh, and we generally the developer provides a lot of information on it. Um, and also most of our rental appraisals, they're all independent. So, and we'll often go to local agents to get their view and get their opinions on the rental. And we've actually find that whenever we do that, the developers are conservative and the local agents are a bit more accurate, and generally the rents are higher than what we're seeing from the development estimates. Um, what else have we got? How are they going to pay for it? Yeah. If I knew that question, I'd be rich. Um, yeah, I guess that's it, is it? Q&A. As both SA markets have been so hot with current, yeah, job types. Yeah, so if that's nobody's got any more questions, as I said, we'll probably call each of you guys if and we'll probably definitely email you the presentation. I think we can at least do that. We've done a bit of a report on Lancelin South as well, so we can probably provide that. And then obviously feel free to call us. There's Lee and myself. So Lee does Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, another hot area. And then I do WA, SA, Tassie. So, and as I said, we are getting new stocks and we're moving into the apartment market. So there'll be some exclusive apartments or some apartments that we have exclusive floors on. Plenty of stock coming in Melbourne, obviously. So, but some townies in South Australia and apartments as well. So, yeah. So if nobody's got any more questions, we'll probably leave it at that. Yeah. All right. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll probably make this a bit of a regular feature, especially as we get that newer type stock on the market. As I said, some townhouses coming in the city of Adelaide or suburban Adelaide, and some apartments, etc., in Melbourne and Adelaide and WA, Queensland. Alrighty, no worries. Thank you. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a good weekend. Ciao. Gee, thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, Brett. That that
Thank you.
looks that
Thanks,
looks
Ruth.
like it. Yep.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think we'll make sure we ring them. So probably Monday, I'll ring everybody
Yep.
and answer a heap of questions. So, all right, cool.
No worries.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice weekend.